Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast. We love digging into those strategies that can really help you build a secure financial future.
Absolutely. And today we're zeroing in on gold IRAs as a way to protect your wealth.
Especially for those of you who are, thinking about retirement.
Exactly. Getting closer to that.
Yeah. We're going to take a deep dive into gold IRAs,
Yeah.
what makes them unique, and how they work. And I think you might be surprised to learn how powerful they can be when you combine them with private banking services.
Yeah. That's a combination a lot of people don't even consider.
Yeah, it's almost like having a custom-tailored suit for your finances.
I love that analogy.
It's designed to fit your needs and your goals.
That's it. That's it.
Now, before we get too far, let me just remind everyone, if you're looking for a simple way to start your gold IRA journey, we've got a free checklist to help you choose the right gold IRA company for you. Just visit goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. That's goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
All right. Let's get into it.
All right, so gold IRAs now, when most people think about their retirement savings,
Yeah.
they think about stocks, bonds, mutual funds.
Right. The familiar paper assets.
Right, the things that you get statements for every month or every quarter.
Uh-huh.
But a gold IRA kind of shakes things up a bit.
It does. It does. Instead of those traditional assets, you're holding physical gold. Actual gold coins or bars.
Yeah,
It's like owning a piece of history in your hand.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it brings a sense of tangibility to your portfolio.
Right.
It's not just numbers on a screen.
Exactly.
You're holding something real,
Yeah.
something with intrinsic value.
Yeah. And that's a key difference when it comes to wealth preservation. Gold has this proven track record
Right.
of holding its value over time. And it often acts as a safe haven when things get a little rocky in the economy.
Yeah. It's fascinating to think about how gold has been a store of value for centuries.
Right.
It's like this thread connecting us to the past,
Yeah.
a symbol of enduring wealth.
Absolutely. And unlike paper currency, which can be devalued by inflation,
Right.
gold has this way of maintaining its purchasing power over time. It helps protect your savings from those erosive effects of rising prices.
So you're not just preserving wealth. You're making sure that your wealth retains its value over the long term.
That's it.
So you can, maintain your lifestyle and achieve your goals.
Exactly. Now, a lot of people, they associate wealth with growth, seeing those numbers in their account going up. But a gold IRA taps into a different aspect of wealth, stability, and preservation.
It's like the tortoise and the hare, right?
Oh, I like that.
The stock market can be that hare with all of its, jumps and dips, and, the
Yeah.
gold is the steady tortoise, slow and steady,
Yeah. Yeah, I love that analogy.
designed for the long haul.
And that's why a lot of investors view gold as a hedge against inflation. When the cost of goods and services start to rise, the value of gold tends to rise right along with it. So it helps to protect your purchasing power.
Yeah, so in a way, a gold IRA is almost like a safety net,
Uh-huh.
during turbulent economic time.
Exactly.
It's like a financial anchor, when you're in stormy seas.
Exactly. When other assets are kind of underperforming, gold tends to shine. It can potentially increase in value, and it offers a level of protection that you might not get from those traditional investments.
Now, we've talked about the stability and the potential growth of gold. Let's move into an area that I think many people may not be familiar with, and that's integrating a gold IRA with private banking services.
Yeah. This is where things get really interesting. Private banking really takes wealth management to a whole other level. It's this personalized approach that's often tailored for individuals who have those more complex financial needs.
Yeah, so it sounds like having, like a dedicated team of experts in your corner working to protect and grow your assets.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. With private banking, you get access to a level of service and expertise that goes way beyond what you typically see at a regular bank. It's like having a concierge for your finances.
So how does this personalized approach apply to a gold IRA?
Well, imagine you've got this team of financial professionals who understand the ins and outs of gold IRAs and all the strategies behind wealth preservation. They can help you develop a customized plan to make sure that your gold IRA is not just sitting there, but it's actively working as part of your overall financial picture.
It's like having a financial architect designing a custom-built fortress for your wealth, brick by golden brick.
That's a great visual. And, the beauty of private banking is that it's not just about the initial setup. It's about the ongoing management, constantly adjusting and refining your strategy to make sure it lines up with your needs and goals as they change over time.
Yeah, because as we all know, life is dynamic.
It is. It is. Things are always changing.
So we got this great combination, the stability of gold with the personalized strategies of private banking. But how does this all fit into the bigger picture of, estate planning, leaving a legacy for your loved ones?
That's a great question. And that's really where the value of this approach shines. When we talk about estate planning, we're talking about making sure that your wealth is transferred to your heirs the way you want it to be
Right.
and in the most tax efficient way.
Right. And it's about having control over your financial legacy, making sure that what you worked so hard for
Yes.
benefits the people and causes you care about.
Absolutely. So gold IRAs, especially when you combine them with these private banking services, they can be very powerful tools in this process.
So how do gold IRAs actually help facilitate that smooth transfer of wealth?
Well, one of the key benefits is that they can integrate seamlessly with trust structures.
Okay.
So private banking professionals can actually work with your estate planning attorney to make sure that your gold IRA is part of your trust.
Okay.
And that just makes the transfer of assets to your beneficiaries that much smoother.
So it's not just about avoiding probate court. It's about making sure that your wishes are carried out the way you intended.
Exactly. Minimizing any potential delays or complications.
Okay. And that kind of ties back to the tax advantages that we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Private banking expertise can help optimize how tax efficient your gold IRA investments are,
Yes.
both during your lifetime and when they're passed on to your heirs.
Exactly.
What about estate taxes themselves? Those can take a pretty big chunk out of inheritances, can't they?
Absolutely. And that's why understanding current estate tax laws and exemptions is so important. Right now, as of 2025, the federal estate tax exemption is set at $12.92 million per person. So if your estate is below that threshold, you won't be subject to federal estate tax.
So it's important to, keep up on those exemptions because those things can change over time.
Absolutely. They can
Yeah.
be modified by future legislation.
Yeah.
So it's important to work with professionals who can really help you navigate all that and make sure that your plan stays effective.
Right. Having a knowledgeable team
Yeah.
can help you avoid any problems.
Definitely. They can make sure everything is executed smoothly and efficiently.
Okay. So now let's shift gears just a little bit and talk about IRS regulations when it comes to gold IRAs.
Okay.
What are some of the things that people really need to know to make sure that they are following the rules?
Well, one of the most important things to understand is that not just any gold can be held in a gold IRA.
Okay.
The IRS has specific requirements about what type of gold is permitted.
So I can't just melt down my old jewelry and stash it in a gold IRA.
I love that question. It makes sense to think that way. But unfortunately, it's not that simple.
Okay.
The IRS generally requires what's considered investment-grade gold, like American Gold Eagles,
Okay.
or specific bars and coins that meet certain purity standards.
So you really got to do your research.
Absolutely. You've got to work with a custodian who really understands those regulations
Okay.
and can guide you in choosing the right type of gold for your IRA.
Now, assuming that you've followed all the rules and regulations, what happens when somebody inherits a gold IRA? What are the tax implications there?
Well, this is where the tax-deferred benefits of a gold IRA can really be advantageous.
Okay.
When a gold IRA is inherited, its value is subject to income tax for the beneficiary, but there's no estate tax on the account itself.
So the account itself isn't considered part of the taxable estate.
Correct.
All right.
Exactly. Which can be a huge advantage for larger estates. It means that if that gold IRA is managed properly, it can really help reduce the overall tax burden on your heirs, and they get to inherit more of your wealth.
This is great information. For anybody who's thinking about planning for the future, it's not just about preserving your wealth.
Yeah.
It's about passing it on
Yes.
in a way that maximizes its impact for the people you care about.
Exactly. And that's what I think makes this combination of gold IRAs and private banking so powerful. It's about looking at wealth management holistically, thinking not just about your current needs, but the long-term financial well-being of your family.
Speaking of taking control of your financial future, let me just remind everybody about that free checklist we mentioned earlier. It's got tons of valuable tips to help you choose the right gold IRA company for you.
It's a great resource.
You can find it at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. Now, before we wrap up, I'd love to get your perspective on something. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the tangible nature of gold
Yes.
to the ins and outs of estate planning and IRS regulations. What do you think is the most compelling aspect of gold IRAs, especially when you combine them with private banking services? For me, it's the peace of mind.
Yeah.
It's knowing that you have an asset that stood the test of time, something real, in a world where everything seems to change so quickly.
Yeah,
Gold has this, sense of stability and security.
I agree. It's like having that foundation,
Yeah.
something solid to stand on.
Yeah.
When things feel a little shaky.
Yeah. And then when you add in the personalized strategies, the private banking,
Yeah.
it's like it just takes that peace of mind to a whole other level.
It really does. Because you're not just holding the gold, you're actively managing it
Right.
as part of this comprehensive plan.
It's a strategy. It's
Yeah,
all tied together.
it is.
And I think a lot of people hear private banking and they think, oh, that's only for the ultra wealthy.
Right.
But that's not necessarily the case, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. Private banking is becoming more and more accessible these days. And, a lot of institutions are offering different tiers of service.
Right. So you don't have to be a multimillionaire
No, you
to
don't.
benefit from these strategies.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right level of service that fits your needs
And your budget?
and your budget. Absolutely.
It's about empowering yourself to take control
Yes,
of your financial future.
it really is, regardless of your net worth.
Well, we've covered a lot today, from the history of gold to the strategies of private banking and estate planning. But as we wrap up this deep dive, I'd like to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question.
Okay, I'm ready.
What are your biggest concerns about retirement planning? Could a gold IRA, maybe integrated with private banking services, be a part of the solution for you?
That is a great question to think about. We always encourage you to keep doing your research, talk to those financial advisors, explore all your options. The key is to be proactive and stay informed.
And speaking of being informed, don't forget to grab our free checklist to help you choose the right gold IRA company. It's available at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
It's a fantastic resource.
Well, thanks for joining us today on this deep dive into gold IRAs and wealth preservation. We hope you found it insightful and empowering.
We did too.
Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the better equipped you'll be to create a secure and prosperous future for yourself.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building that financial future you deserve.